You are listening to the Michael Yaffee program, wnsc.ucf.edu online radio. I thank you guys for joining me today. Sorry I was not here Saturday and Sunday. I just needed to take a break from it. And I know my loyal fans out there just missed me so much. But I am back today, and there is so much to talk about. Before I start, though, if you're wondering who I am, I'm just a rank amateur UCF student that they allow to have a microphone for some crazy reason, just because I decided for a major, so I take advantage of it. And if you want to email me, you can email me at michael.yaffee@knights.ucf.edu. If you want to instant message me during the show, you can instant message me, radio WNSC. And I will be recording this and posting it on Facebook and hopefully YouTube. So if you know anybody you want to tell your friends, but they can't listen at a certain time, it will be up. So they will be up. There are no excuses. Just listen. Just listen. I mean, unless you have something better to do, like laundry, which even I would agree is probably better than listening to this rank amateur show. But I thank you guys for listening. And, well, I'm going to talk a little bit, once again, about Obama's health care plan, because that seems to be the big news of everywhere. And it's not going away, and they're stopping at nothing to pass. So before I talk about what I think of it, well, we're going to figure out where we are. And this is from CBS News. It's just telling us, you know, what's going on this week with healthcare. Healthcare Progress Report, October 19th. That's today, by the way. Democrats in Congress continue this week to wrangle behind closed doors over the public option and other elements of reform. Gee, why are they doing it behind closed doors? President Obama has set a year-end deadline for passing comprehensive health care reform. And on a number of occasions, he has said the nation is closer than ever before to making it happen. As Congress methodically and sometimes clumsily cobbles together a health care bill, blah, 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 blah. This week, leaders in the House and Senate continue with backroom deal-making to bring unifying bills to the floor in their respective chambers. The Senate, this is what's going on in the Senate. 2 committees in the Senate have jurisdiction over health care reform, and as of last week, both have approved their own bills. Now, Senate leadership must move on to step 2 and present a bill before the full Senate. So the Senate's trying to pass a bill, the Health is trying to pass a bill, they're trying to combine all the bills, and they're going to put it together. But what is in the bills? Well, it remains to be seen what components of the 2 different bills will survive. For instance, one bill has a government health insurance plan or public option, while the other does not. Only one bill taxes costly employer-provided health plans in order to help pay for reform. So that's what that basically means, is one bill is going to tax employer-provided health plans that are good. So when the employers actually do the right thing and provide really good health care to the employees, they're going to tax it, which raises the prices, and yeah, it's not good. And the insurance industry put on a scathing report about the Baucus bill last week, but the legislation still made it out of committee. After the bill was approved, a large group of labor unions took its turn blasting the bill for taxing costly insurance plans, a move the unions called a new tax on the middle class. Labor unions and other liberal pro-groups are pushing Senate leaders to bring a bill to the floor that more closely resembles the relatively liberal HELP bill. So basically we have one bill in which they're just trying to tax, you know, health. I don't know what the heck they're doing, to be honest with you. You have this, I fear they don't even think they know what to do. And there's like so many different bills. All we know is that the government is trying to get highly involved in healthcare. And their main goal, which Obama has stated, is for a public option. Now, a public option is when they want people who cannot get health care insurance, they want a government to provide them health care insurance for free. How are they going to pay for that? Well, they're going to tax the people who have health care insurance. So it's a redistribution of wealth. They're also going to create what's called a health care panel, a government panel that gives guidelines and limits to the doctors. So if the doctors want to have treatment, a government panel will step in and say, is this treatment really worth it? Is this treatment really cost effective? So you have the government stepping in between the patient and their doctor, which Obama says they're not. He says that's not the plan, but there are plans out there for this health. He said it himself. There are plans for a panel to at least set, quote, guidelines. So that's how Obama gets away with it. But the fact of the matter is that this is the government setting up a health system of some sort. Whether with a public option or not, the government is going to get deeply involved in healthcare, which is just now privately owned except for Medicare, which Medicare is almost bankrupt. And Obama said himself, and some believe like I do, that this is a foot in the door. They just want to start with a public option, but they know if they create a public option, more employers will drop their employee health care. They will drop it, so those people will have to go on the government option. So the number of people on the government option will rise. They know it. And eventually, as Obama said he's a proponent of a single-payer health system. He's on audio saying that. He wants a nationalized healthcare system. That is their goal for the long term. Now, what's a nationalized healthcare system? That is where everybody gets healthcare for free, even though it's not free. You have to pay it through taxes. But they get healthcare for free, and they'll get it free through a government system in which all healthcare will go through the government. The government will run it. The government will be in charge of it. The government will hire all of those things. That, Reagan warned us about this, that don't let them get that foot in the door because it's a slippery slope from there. But my question is, where do they have the authority to do any of this? Well, let's find out. It's got to be in this Constitution, and I have a copy here. I got of the Constitution, and I'm just going to read Section 8, the powers of Congress. Now, if we have good, decent congressmen, they'll have to be in here, right? Section 8, powers of Congress. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. That's the first one. I didn't see anything about healthcare in there. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. No. To regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. No. To establish an uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Gee, they broke that one when they bailed out the car companies. Instead of letting them go through a bankruptcy proceeding, they just totally took them over. So they didn't even follow the Constitution there, but that's a different subject. To coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. No. To provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. No. To establish post offices and post roads. Well, there's some left. It's got to be in here somewhere. To promote, come on, it's just right. To promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. Basically, private property. If you create something, you will get credit for it. Nothing to do with healthcare. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. Nope. To define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations. Piracies. No. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. Maybe they're declaring war on bad health. Now, if they actually declare war on bad health, maybe that will give them the authority for healthcare. To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. To provide and maintain a navy. To make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Notice that there's a pattern here, that most of the stuff in here has to do with securing and protecting the United States, which is supposed to be the federal government's main job. To provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. So maybe if they call a militia to repel the invasions of bacteria, then they maybe. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress.